Hello friends. Natalie gave me yesterday a longer than usual avocado from her farm, and so I thought that I'll make you a video about unusual avocados and unusual facts about the usual avocados. Avocado is perhaps the only fruit in the world that's oily. The plant food that we eat that's oily are nuts and seeds, not fruits. And they almost all have that good oil, good cholesterol. Seeds of sunflowers and nuts of macadamia nuts and peanuts, which are actually legume seeds. Different seeds, different nuts and fruit. And they all have a good cholesterol in their oil. And from animal food also the fish has that good oil. The most common avocado is called Hass avocado, Hass, which is very oily. These long avocados are sometimes less oily, so they're sometimes lower on calories. So we can stay slimmer while eating more of it. Anyway, let me show you about Hass avocados. They're smaller, rounder, bumpier. When they're ripe, they're green still. They look like this. They were developed by a mailman from Southern California named Rudolf Gustav Hass, who lived long time ago, and his avocados became the most popular in the supermarkets of United States. If you wanna read a wonderful story about him, then go to his Wikipedia page and you can read the wonderful story about him and the people he worked with and his wife, how they met on a church picnic and all that. But if you wanna hear a legend that I don't know how much is true because it's somewhat different from this very romantic story in Wikipedia, then listen to the romantic story I heard that might be less exactly factual. There were no mail trucks when he started, just like Wikipedia says that he had to carry a heavy bag of mail to distribute and to gather. And he liked avocados, and he was an amateur horticulturist, which is the science of plants. And not having land, according to legend, he was planting seeds throughout the city of his route, mail route, in abundant lots. And over the years, as the trees start to produce, he would taste the fruit and found out the one that tasted to him best was most oily and at the same time early producer and heavy producer, and sold the twigs. Well, got it patented. Got his cultivar patented and sold the plant to a nursery that would multiply it by grafting twigs from it on a little avocado plants and distribute it. The opposite shape of the Rudolph's round, or non-Rudolph's, many round smaller, bumpier and all that, would be smooth, long avocados that are some of them, well, the round ones, some are ripe reddish way, bluish way, dark way, and some greenish, and likewise the long ones are, some when they're ripe. Some species cultivars are green and some are red, like the one I just showed you that I have. Some are much longer than the one I have. Here you can see in Wikipedia, in Google I mean, how long they can get, some of them. And typically they have, in my experience at least, a thinner peel. Some are so long and so narrow that they are actually seedless. Here you can see, if you type seedless avocados, you can see some avocados that are seedless. And how do you grow a seedless tree? Well, there is two ways. Seedless grapes we have, seedless different fruit, not just avocados. One way is that they are not completely seedless, that you look on many fruits and you find the one that has a seed and you plant it, and if the genetic trait of practically almost seedlessness is hereditary, then you get a trees of a seedless avocado or what have you. Another way is that if you have genetically non-hereditary trait, a mutation that is only in that plant or only in one branch of a plant, that you graft little piece of it onto new trees. And that's how the unusualness gets more and more plants. One common unusualness of avocados is that you have a seed which when you sprout, you get two trees, that there is a seed with two embryos. Here is another photo from internet. It's very common. You plant a seed and voila, you get two trees. Way less common is that you have an avocado with two seeds, not two baby plants growing from one seed, but two seeds out of one, inside of one avocado. Whoa! Here is another example. You see how one of the plants is double looking, one of the fruits is double looking. Here is another example. Here is how such a seed looks like. This one is not just two seeds, but they are almost joined or joined. I don't know, you would have to take the remainder of a fruit out to find out. Years ago on our island, there was an article. Let me go on a listening page. So here is another unusual story. There was an article in a newspaper about an old man in a different town than we lived in that had a tree with avocados, avocado tree, that had every fruit double. There was a photo that looks just like a Siamese twin, but fruit. And my life was such that I simply had no time to go there and get a twig from it and graft it. And over the years I lost the newspaper. About 8 years later, I went to the Garden Island newspaper and asked them if they have a copy of that old story. And they brought me to their warehouse, opened the door, and there was a pile and pile, an enormous pile of these long metal, aluminum or whatever it is, sheets on which you could see in negative sort of the pages from which they were printing the pages of newspaper from these aluminum or whatever it was sheets, and they said, look, if you want to find it, look through it. But of course that is not what I could possibly do. And so I don't know if that tree exists. I don't know if that grandpa or his offsprings exist to ask them. Was this tree naturally such a mutation that had these double avocados on every tree, or was it a grafted tree that they have there? Is that, if that tree would be still alive and if I can get there, I could see the graft part, because typically the rootstock, the bottom of a tree, have a slightly different bark than the scion, the top of a tree. And there is a sort of line, deviation line, dividing line between the two. But, as I said, I lost the contact. So I guess we'll never find out. And those are my very strange stories about avocados and avocado trees that you might like to hear, that might interest you. And I guess now it's time to cut open that avocado that's downstairs on the table and see what we'll find out. Okay, let's go. If I could let you taste it, of course, that would be the best. So let me get a knife. All right. So as you can see, I said it at the beginning, I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, that the long ones have very thin peel, and they are not having this kind of grainy texture that you can see on a Haas video, even on the outside on the peel. And the taste is on some of these long ones, but not on all. Very oily. On some it's more juicy. Oh, yum yum. This one is the oily one. Okay, my friends. Now you know all my avocado stories. And if you like this video, please give me thumbs up and subscribe. Thumbs up and subscribe. Thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you very much.